surrender to the rush of day, when the heat of the rolling world can be turned away. Enough for this wide-eyed wanderer that we got this far. Y esta noche es para amar, todo listo está. El destino nos trajo hasta aquí para revivir. There's a time for everyone, if they only learn that the twisting kaleidoscope moves us all in turn.
Todos los colores caen en su lugar cuando ambos corazones vibran al hablar.
Can you feel the love tonight? It is where we are. Enough for this wide-eyed wanderer that we got this far. Esta noche es para amar, todo listo está. El destino nos trajo hasta aquí para revivir. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best.
I was always rushing everywhere, going from town to town, playing my music, living my dream, when suddenly the world shut down. The virus hit us just like that. I didn't know what I'd do, but I quickly found out love and kindness was gonna get me through. Love and kindness, hearts that give, this is what guides us, the best way we can live. Things won't be this way forever. Let's stay strong and hold it together with love and kindness each and every day. So many of us have been hurting, so many of us are unsure. Will we ever go back to normal? Will they ever find a cure? I thank God each day that I wake up that my loved ones are still here. I have faith and I have hope, I won't be ruled by fear. I choose love and kindness, hearts that give. This is what guides us, the best way we can live. Things won't be this way forever. Let's stay strong and hold it together with love and kindness each and every day. This all happened for a reason, there's no doubt in my mind. This is the changing season we must leave our ways behind. I believe in love and kindness, hearts that give. This is what guides us, the best way we can live. Things won't be this way forever. Let's stay strong and hold it together with love and kindness each and every day. Love and kindness each and every day.
There's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. We speak so many languages. We have different clothing, different colors, different names. Different is only dangerous. We forget that in the heart we're all the same. We'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, so what power can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of the love in you and me. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, for it's the love that's most deep. It's one power. It's one power. Yeah, it's what we are. One power. One power. It's the power of the love and you and me. One power. There's a part of me that knows the answer to every question before I ask it. There's a part of you that knows the answer to every question before you ask it. We are one, we are one, we are one, and we know what to do. We are one, we are one, we are one, and we know what to do. There's a part of me that knows what to say before I open my mouth to speak. And there's a part of you that knows what to say before you open your mouth to speak. We are one, we are one, we are one, and we know what to say. We are one, we're listening. We are one, receiving. We are one as we walk through our day, believing. 'Cause we are one, we are one, we are one, we are one. We know what to do.
supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the People of Diversity Sunday service. We are a multi-faith community, and we believe there are many paths to one divinity. We have 10 multi-faith speakers and 10 sets of musicians. Each 10 weeks, we give them a topic and for our series, and the speakers send in a video with their message, and the musicians send in a couple of videos with some appropriate music. And Scott and I do the intros and the exits, send it all to Philip and his team, and they put it together and yeah, poof. Poof. Get what you're seeing now, the Sunday service. So if you would like to join us in this endeavor, go to www.peopleofdiversity.org and push the donate button. You can also help us out a lot by, when you're watching this on Facebook Live, if you like it, if you see the event, if you like the event, if you share the event, all the traffic that we get on Facebook helps get it out there to more people. Does that work the same way on YouTube?
It does, yeah.
It does. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have to subscribe to play, but yes.
Yeah, so subscribe to the People of Diversity YouTube channel, and you can like and share, and it just spreads the word, and that's helpful as well. Not just donations and tithes, but that kind of marketing basically will help us get the word out to a wider audience. Thank you.
All right. So last week we heard from Swami Dhumavadi out of Kashi Ashram and had a wonderful visit in the deep dive afterwards. Her musical accompaniment from the middle
of
Tennessee. From Donna Frost's backyard, and it was beautiful. This week we hear from Native American Will Davis, and Becky and I had the opportunity to go over and video him and spend an hour and a half hanging out, and that was wonderful. Accompanying him will be one of our brothers from Canada, Victor Morgado, who I've known for almost 45 years now. Next week, we hear from our Muslim representative, Naran Sykes, and her musical accompaniment will be Daniel Keppel. Past services, notifications, all of the archived material on Facebook is available at the People of Diversity group or page or both. By connecting to that, you'll get notifications and access to everything that we've done, always, but more specifically over the last 3.5 years. Also, as we mentioned earlier, we have an active YouTube page now. If you're a subscriber, you can interact on that YouTube page. If you really don't like the Facebook platform and you're just here to see the service, you can do the same thing on YouTube, and we'll interact and shoot hearts and be able to comment back and forth, again, as long as you have subscribed to the page. Following the morning service from 11:45 to 12:15, we do a deep dive. Now that's on the Zoom platform, and it's an opportunity for us to see each other and hang out and visit. And like last week, we had an opportunity to ask Swami Dhumavadi to expound on some of the more specific items that caught our attention. So bring whatever catches your attention to the deep dive. We do a second broadcast from 5:45 Sunday nights. That is also what we pin to the top of the page so that you can venture back through the week and check things out.
That one's on Facebook Live. the 545 services Facebook Live.
The only time that there's a premiere or an opportunity to interact on YouTube is on that morning service. It's not available in the afternoon. That is correct. And I think that's all I know.
But you can always go back to the YouTube channel and get on
If
and
you're-
watch. Yeah.
If you're on that channel, you can not only watch that video at the time that it happens, rewatch it at 5:45, but you can search now on the playlist options and
Right.
and search by either faith or by topic.
Yeah.
And then dive into mindfulness, or just find everything from a Muslim perspective, and listen to all. I guess there's probably up to 13 or 14 for each of the
Lovely.
long-term
Yeah.
speakers at this point. So yeah,
Each week we bless a country. We're about halfway through now. We're in the M's. Next week is Malta. So if you know anything about Malta, send it to me. Especially if you've ever been to Malta. If you have any pictures, stories, facts, whatever, send it to the email address below and I'll use it in the country blessing. This week we are blessing Mali. Mali is a landlocked country in West Africa. It's about twice the size of Texas and has 22 million people. They are 95% Muslim. Over 67% of the Malians are below the age of 25. And Mali has one of the youngest populations in the world. Malians are predominantly rural, and 10% of them are nomadic. 65% of the land in Mali is desert or semi-desert. Now, we've all heard of Timbuktu, and Timbuktu is often used as a slang term for any faraway place. Go to Timbuktu. But it is actually a city in Mali. It's called the City of 333 Saints because 333 Muslim scholars and teachers were buried there. And it is also home to one of the world's oldest universities, the University of Sankore, which was built in the early 14th century. Yeah, that's pretty cool. There was a man there named Mansa Musa, who was the richest person of all time so far. The richest person of all time. He was the first king of Timbuktu, and he had a fortune of around $400 billion in today's money. $400 billion in today's money, which is about twice the wealth of Amazon's Jeff Bezos, who is considered the richest person alive today. So, his wealth was derived from the country's vast gold and salt deposits. And at one time, Mali's gold deposits accounted for half of the world's gold supply. Yeah. And in spite of all the gold, Mali is one of the poorest nations in the world. 80% of the people work in fishing and agriculture and earn less than $1 per day. And our last fact about Mali, and if you ever go to Mali, you might want to go do this just for fun and picture opportunities. The line which separates the eastern and western hemispheres passes through Mali. And at this spot, a person can have one foot in the western hemisphere and the other in the eastern hemisphere. So, like I said, if you ever go to Mali and you want to do that, there you go. So let's hold the people of Mali in our hearts. Let's wish them, let's pray for them, for their abundance, increased abundance for the general population. They can take advantage of their natural resources and make lives a little bit better. Let's hold them in our hearts, knowing they want the same things in their lives that we want in ours. And we bless them, and we send them love, and we say these words together. May peace prevail in Mali. May peace prevail on earth. May peace prevail in me. Thank you.
all right. Down to the meat now. First, we'll have two songs on compassion from Victor Margado and an amazing chat talk from Grandfather Will Davis And without further ado, let's dive right in.
This song is about compassion. It was inspired by, it's an original, inspired by a couple of couples that I knew. One were friends in my hometown about 20 years ago, and they were both quite old, and one was slowly getting sick and passed away at home, and he took care of her as well as he could, as her mind was also deteriorating. He had to remind her quite often about their relationship. And the second one was about my parents, and my dad had a similar fate. He had Alzheimer's, and my mom took care of him until the end. This song is called Fairy Tales and Lullabies. I'll feed you peaches, sweet honey cream. I'll read you stories from Life magazine. I'll wipe the hair away from your eyes. I'll tell you lies where my disguise. I'll pick the crumbs up off your floor. I'll chase away the wolf at your door. I'll tell you again how we met. I'll make your bed and kiss your hand. I'll tell you fairy tales, sing you lullabies. As we fly into the flame, I'll shade your eyes from the light. I'll bring yellow roses for your room. I'll hum your song. I'll put sweet perfume on your wrist. I'll paint your lips for our last kiss. I'll tell you fairy tales, sing your lullabies. As we fly into the flame, I'll shade your eyes from the light. Once upon a time, once upon a place, I was your little prince, you were my princess Grace. I met you at the ball, we danced in the rain, and my life was never, ever the same. If you want me to, I'll brush your hair. I'll lay you back in your easy chair. I'll place your slippers on your feet. You look so sweet, fall asleep. I'll tell you fairy tales, sing your lullabies. As we fly into the flame, shade your eyes from the light. This next song is a cover of a Simon & Garfunkel song, Bridge Over Troubled Water. This is probably the ultimate compassion song ever written, or pretty close to it, at least that I know in popular music. Really, the words speak for themselves. It's about someone reaching out to someone who's in dire need. and he'll be or she'll be the bridge over their troubled water, or the abyss in their life at that point. The ultimate compassion song, Bridge Over Troubled Water. When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side when times get rough, and friends just can't be found, like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down. When you're down and out, when you're on the street, when evening falls so hard, I will comfort you. I'll take your part. Oh, when darkness comes and pain is all around, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down. Sail on, silver girl, sail on by. Your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on the way. See how they shine. If you need a friend, I'm sailing right behind, like a bridge over troubled water. I will ease your mind like a bridge over troubled water. I will ease your mind.
Okay, this morning I've been asked to talk about compassion. And I'm really excited about that because compassion is one of my favorite subjects. I write about it a lot on social media. I talk about it a lot. In fact, I'm working on my second book, and that will be about compassion and what compassion really is. And today I'm going to be coming from two different philosophies. A lot of you already know by now that I'm not only Native American, but I'm also Buddhist. And I get questions about that from time to time. From the Native side, it's like, how can you be Native and Buddhist? From the Buddhist side, how can you be Buddhist and Native? And I'm going, why not? Because neither one conflicts with the other. In fact, they're quite complementary. And so I was thinking about that today. There's a tribe, a Native tribe, the Lakota, who have their 12 virtues. And one of those virtues is compassion. Wawashilapi is how they say it. And they even give a description of that I really kind of agree with. And on the Buddhist side, when the Buddha began his teaching, he talked about what I call personally the three pillars of the journey toward the end of suffering, and that is compassion, mindfulness, and loving kindness. I think those three ideologies, those three habits is essential to becoming better than what we are, to move forward on our path, whether that's a spiritual path, a karmic path, or just a mundane human path. Those things are vital and essential to being a giving person. I can't imagine being able to walk any of those paths without at least having and practicing compassion. And when you think about that word, compassion, when you break it down, it kind of translates with passion, as a result of passion. And I think that's very true, because when we think of the word passion, I think about something that I'm totally interested in, something that I'm involved in, something that I do. It becomes part of my bliss, part of my reason for being. I also think that people misunderstand the whole concept of compassion. And when I talk about compassion, I've had about 76 years to think about this. When I think about compassion, I think about it's neither sympathy nor empathy. In my opinion, those are totally different. To me, compassion is the willingness and the endeavor to understand. If I meet somebody who's not okay, who's kind of nasty, who's angry, I've learned to ask this question first, and that is, what might they have suffered in their lives that shaped and molded them into who they are? I want to understand how they got to this place. By doing that, I'm relieved of the burden and responsibility of being judgmental, of even having to make a judgment. If you look around, everything that exists is a result of something else that exists. I'm here because of my mom and dad. I'm the result of them. My thinking, my thoughts, my beliefs, although malleable, and they have changed several times in my lifetime, but it's still a reflection of how I'm responding and reacting to my greater environment. One of my challenges in this lifetime is humility, learning what that really means, and then practicing it to a deeper degree. I think for me, when I define humility, when I couple it with compassion, for me, humility isn't debasing yourself. It's not groveling. It's not being hangdog. I think what humility really is knowing how truly great you are, but then having absolutely no need to say that. If someone is truly humble, that's going to be obvious. It won't have to be commented on. I think in our lives, all of us, me, you, everybody, there are pockets where we do feel pride. And sometimes that leaks into ego pride. I know when somebody admires my artwork, there's that little tiny part of me that goes, yes, yes. And that's okay. In fact, I think there's even a healthiness about that. One of the things that I think we might want to pay a little more attention to is when we are interacting with the greater environment out there, pay attention to what may trigger a negative emotion in you, whether that's anger, disgust, surprise, lack of understanding. Pay attention to that. Follow that trail for a little while to see where it takes you. Why am I feeling this? Where is that coming from? What part of me has been activated? Because you see, we usually respond or react to those things that either we have no former experience with, or we do, and it doesn't set right with our own concepts and precepts. I know that when I'm triggered with anger, some part of me is in agreement with what I'm angry about. And I have this consciousness of that. So I've learned to walk down that trail for a little. Okay, what is it about this? What is it about you that's responding to this right now? Even with joy, what is it about me that's able to respond to that joy? So with compassion, to me, compassion is sharing. It's the idea that if I see that you are in pain, I'm going to do whatever I know how to do or can do to help you relieve that pain. Whether that's just a kind word, rubbing your head, giving you a hug, or taking you to the doctor. That's what I'm going to do. I think, I use that word, that phrase a lot, I think. And I'm glad I can do that. If someone wants to start the journey toward the end of suffering, I think that they might want to start with learning compassion, learning how to be a compassionate person. On the native side of me, that word Walan-Shilapi, compassion, has a lot to do with not so much that I'm sympathetic. I'm not going to jump in the hole with you. Okay? And that's what sympathy is. I'm going to suffer with you. Compassion is more like I'm going to acknowledge that you're in the hole, and I'm going to throw you a rope or a ladder so that you can climb out, should you wish. Or if you're not able to climb out, then I may climb down in there with the ladder to help you back out. But I can't have both of us there feeling sorry for ourselves. And that's how I experience compassion. In my own journey through life, I mean, I've been to the top of the mountain and I've been to the depths of the ocean as far as my journey goes, my emotions, my feelings, my own being, as I've walked along this path of discovery about who I am and where I fit in with things. I think all of those were necessary to get to where I am, and the underlying and overriding aspect of those things was my ability, or my willingness, I can't say ability, everybody has the ability, my willingness to develop and practice compassion. And just like charity, compassion begins at home. Learn to be compassionate with you first. Learn to engage in self-forgiveness. Learn to engage in positive self-talk. It's easy to chew myself out. Sometimes it's not so easy to tell myself, hey, you did really good today. Do that. Understand that if compassion is the endeavor to understand, that I have to understand me first. And sometimes that's a journey in and of itself. Then I can start extending that out into the environment, to you. I think that overall, when you join compassion with mindfulness and loving kindness, you know, what's really left? On the native side, there's those other 12 aspects, or those other 9 aspects. In Buddhism, there's the Eightfold Path. You know, the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. They're almost the same, exactly the same, whether it's the native virtues or the Buddhist wheel. And if you stop thinking about our medicine circle, kind of looks like the Buddhist wheel a little bit too. And each of those points have a meaning. They have an aspect assigned to them. When we start walking those ways, when I walk the medicine circle, or the great circle of life, I pause at each of those points. Not that that would make any difference, but it gives my limited mind a place to work from. And I think about that, I meditate about that. You know, what about compassion? What about community? Because one of my chants on the Buddhist side of me is I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dharma, and I take refuge in the Sangha. Or I take refuge in the light, I take refuge in the truth, I take refuge in the community. It's the same on the native side. I take refuge in the light of the creator of all things, the great mystery. I take refuge in the truth, because although in that language there's a word for truth, there is no word for lie. I've always found that fascinating. And then I take refuge in the community, and in the native world, the community is all important. It's what supports you, it's what holds you up. So compassion is also the willingness and the ability to get involved. It's easy for me to sit here and preach and pontificate in front of this camera. It's not so easy to get up and walk out there into the world and follow up with these words. And that is a challenge sometimes. But anybody who knows me and who's been around me for a while, or has seen me in other situations where I'm speaking to groups of people, they know that I do that. I will walk out there and I will stand in my truth, I will stand in my power, and I will speak. And sometimes I'm terrified, because I don't know. It's like, even with these videos, about 3 minutes before I sat down in front of this camera, I go through this moment of absolute terror. My tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth, you know, I get kind of breathy. It doesn't matter whether, and when I said this just last week, I spoke to the Unitarian Fellowship in New Smyrna. And I told them, I said, whether I'm speaking to a group of 5 and I stood in an audience of 4,000, that sense of terror is the same just before I get up on that stage. Once I'm on the stage, I don't know what happens, but things just start tumbling out of my mouth. And I've learned how to listen to that too. Because sometimes I know Becky and Scott will make a comment, I'm going, what exactly did I say? You know, I'm not ready to watch the video yet, so what did I say? It's a matter of, I sometimes just breathe a silent prayer to what I believe in. And I just say, I'm going to lend you my throat, my vocal cords, my tongue, my mouth, and my breath, and you just say whatever you need to say. I'm giving it over to you. And so far, that has kind of worked for me, I think. You know, I go and I watch these videos when they're posted, and I try to read the comments, but there's not very many comments that are made. And that kind of disappoints me a little bit, because how am I going to know if I'm doing okay? or how I can even improve if there's not comments. Whether they're dressing me down or whether they're, it doesn't matter to me. Each of those is infinitely important and useful. One of the things I would like to challenge you with on this trail of compassion is never become arrogant. Stay within the realms of humility. You know how good you are. Everybody else knows how good you are. So we don't need to broadcast that. But what you can do, what I can do, is to make sure that I create this attitude of humility. That's why I greet people the way I do. It's really not about being Buddhist or anything else. I'm not saying namaste, I'm not Hindu. What I am doing is literally asking a divine presence to give you a blessing. That's my greeting, and I do the same thing when we depart, after I hug up all over you, which is my favorite thing to do. Sometimes those hugs can heal some deep wounds. It's like, even with strangers, I mean, when I went up news, I don't know any of those people, never met them before. Well, two. I met two before. But they just seemed to want to hug me, and I'm going, absolutely, here, let me wrap myself all around you, like a boa constrictor. I learned that from my grandson. Oh my God, he's just the best, and he just wraps all around you. I'd also like to ask you, I'm not going to challenge you with this, but I am going to ask you to take just one day after you see this video, take one day and do nothing but practice compassion. Because practice makes perfect. See, I always say I practice because I don't think I've quite gotten there yet, so I'm still practicing. And I'm getting better. I don't have to stop and censor myself or edit myself too much anymore. And I don't know if that's just because I've been here for so long or if I actually have learned some things. Either one doesn't matter. I feel like I'm well along the way. And if at any time, and I thought about this for a long time, if at any time that you think I can be of help to you, all you have to do is contact me. Either through my Facebook page, get in touch with Becky and Scott, whatever. Because again, if I don't practice what I preach, then I should basically shut up and nobody should ever listen to me. And so I'm offering that out there because who knows, I might have something valuable to say. I don't know. I'll do my best. It's a matter of sharing and actually exercising, demonstrating the idea of compassion. Compassion doesn't have to be that I'm just like, oh, you poor thing. Compassion can be, hey, maybe I'm going to make you some fry bread when you come over. For me, that's compassion because I really don't like making fry bread. That's my big confession for the day. I don't really like making fry bread. But I do because it's really delicious. People like it. I like it. It's like my family had a fish fry this past Saturday. And my brother called me and says, hey, can you make some fry bread? And I'm going, what time do you want me there? Oh, about 10 or 11. So I have to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to make fry bread. Yeah, all right. So I made a dozen rounds of fry bread. I set it on the table. I go out to find, my grandson went with me to find him to come eat. I come back and it's all gone. Just a matter of 2 or 3 minutes. But it was the compassionate thing to do. I knew that everybody there wanted some of my fry bread, and I was really looking for a way not to have to do that. But I conceded because it was the right thing to do. See, sometimes being compassionate is doing the right thing, even when you don't want to. You know, and I'm pretty lazy. I really am. People say, well, how come you never get angry? And I'm going, first of all, that's not true. I do get angry sometimes. I said, but I'm lazy. Anger just takes up too much energy. It's like, once you're over it, you feel like you just run a marathon. You know, and I don't have time for that. I'd rather watch YouTube or something, or start on an art project, or play with my grandson, or swim in the pool, or whatever. Go up to St. Augustine for the day. I think when we are compassionate toward ourselves, I did mention that earlier, and I really don't get off topic. I just take a circuitous route. Is when we apply compassion to ourselves, we can do that. I don't have to be angry about anything. When you stop and think about it, I really don't. And I've been challenged on that. Well, what if somebody tries to hurt your kid? I said, that would not be anger. That would be me going into protection mode. Because if I got angry, that renders me somewhat irrational. And if I'm going to take care of protecting my family, I need to stay rational to do that. So anger would not play into it. But my survival mode would kick in, and that sometimes gives me a little extra strength, or it makes my voice a little louder, and sometimes I use bad words, which I apologize for later. I just gave Becky and Scott an example of that this morning. Learn to laugh. When you look around at the world and you just look at it from over here, objectively, there's some funny stuff. There is some really funny stuff going on in the world. And I think compassion also includes a sense of humor. You know, somebody asked me one time, as a spiritual person, Will, and we know that you're a spiritual leader with several different communities, what is it? How do you not like just be in despair all the time? And I went, because I laugh. I said, there are humorous incidences out there. And I said, if you're going to walk a spiritual path, you better have a good sense of humor. Because if not, you will cry all the time. Because sometimes the universe is funny. God has a sense of humor. He made platypuses. So he made me. And I'm kind of like a platypus. I think I have all these parts left over. Let me see what I can make out of it, you know. And could have made me a little taller, you know, this, that, and the other. He and I talk about that from time to time. And there's another thing. If you believe in something beyond yourself, in a creator being, in something, learn how to communicate with that being. Learn how to talk to them without using Elizabethan English, okay? Just say, hey, you know, how you doing today? I'm okay. Or, hey, Grandpa, if you could just help me out with this one little thing, I'd be so appreciative. Thank you so much. And could you help out Scott over here too? He needs a little boost. So in that sense, compassion is the ability to really practice the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's even part of the Buddhist philosophy. It's part of the native philosophy. We have our own way of saying that. So in closing, just remember, take one day after you've seen this video and practice compassion. The other thing I'm going to ask you to do is take just 1 hour out of any day and refuse to be angry about anything. And then let me know how that went for you. So thank you for listening to me. Have the most wonderful week you possibly have. And never forget, I love you.
Thank you, Victor. Awesome as always. We really appreciate you. Yep, it's nice to have you as part of the family. Will, you're just the best. I love you dearly, and it's always a highlight of our 10 weeks to get to go over and video you, and I seriously doubt that you can't do it yourself, but because you're a really smart man. But I'm glad that you asked us because it's a treat. It's a treat, and we both
Truly.
we both enjoy it, and it's fun hanging out. So Philip and Diego and the tech team, thank you all very, very much for everything you do, your efforts, and the time that you spend and the heart that you put into making this fly every single week. We really appreciate it because it's not always easy. I know Scott says poof, but poof isn't easy a lot of times. So if you are out there in the world and you have needs in this kind of endeavor, either virtual or in person, contact Philip and his team and they will help you out. So following the service, 11:45 to 12:15, 30 minutes, we have our live Zoom deep dive. It's a lot of fun to chat. A lot of times the speaker can come. I don't know if Will's going to be able to make it this time or not, but it's a lot of fun to chat. Even if the speaker doesn't come, we throw our questions and our thoughts and our ideas about the talk out there, and we discuss and check in, and it's just nice to see each other, and it's a lot of fun. So and then at 5:45 on Sunday evening, we will rebroadcast the morning service, so you can go back and watch it again, or you can send somebody to watch it if you saw something, particularly if you saw something that touched you or something that you say, oh, so and so needs to hear this. You can send them back to that service, and that's the service that we pin to the top of the Facebook pages, so you can go back anytime during the week and see the immediate past service. Don't forget about our YouTube channel. You can go there pretty much anytime, and if you subscribe to the YouTube channel and watch any service using those playlists are amazing. So,
a treat.
Yeah, so check that out sometime. Next week we will have our talk on compassion from our sister Muslim Naran Sykes. She's always awesome and amazing. I always learn so much. I've learned so much from her about a faith that I was totally ignorant about. And so many people have preconceived notions, and Naran's just such a great ambassador and takes that job very seriously, and she's just awesome. She's a sweetheart. And her music is with David Keppel, who's always got his fiddle or his violin, depending on what kind of mood he's in. And he's always great too, so join us next week for that.
All right. Tithe, donations, offerings, whichever word works for you, works for us. If you'll go to www.peopleofdiversity.org, push the donate button. We pay our speakers, we pay the musicians, we pay Philip and his amazing team. Keep the flow moving, if you are so moved. Let's take a moment now and just offer up a prayer of gratitude for those offerings. Spirit, thank you for all that contribute, whether it be financially, whether it be spreading us over social media, contributing to the meat of every week's service, or simply enjoying the service week after week after week. We are grateful for the opportunity to be here, and we say amen. Don't click off just yet. Let's get into an energetic circle. Bring into that circle anyone who might need help, support, healing, guidance. Let's include in there ourselves and also our world leaders, that they might make better and better decisions about how to take care of 8 billion people on this planet. So let's listen to this last song and put all that into the circle. Have an amazing week, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
One power, one power, one power. One power, one power. one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love.